Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. Welcome to Living World of Darkness Mage venue, which and this scene is like an almost immediate continuation of a scene that in which Ava had a kind of strange dream, which ended with her tumbling down a mountain, uh, almost crashing on the pointy rocks at the bottom before waking up, screaming, sitting upright, and staring around her, kind of bewildered. Her first look going to the portal, which is the room where she was sleeping in, to see if it is actually closed. And yeah, it's that there that we begin the scene with whoever is near or in the chantry or just passing by or whatever, um, hearing a pretty loud but kind of short scream coming from the portal room. Well, and unless there is anything else we want to do, we
We're
can end the scene
we're
here.
so impressed by the screaming, like we're paralyzed in awe and fear. And yeah, I mean, Elijah was probably going to take a step back to the library because, well, now that he has access, he actually spent some time there. And well, hearing a scream, he is probably going to pause, wondering, should I go or should I not go? And then he thinks, probably getting away from my social awkwardness would actually be more important. And he's going to, well, go to the portal thingy. Because I guess that's where the scream was coming from.
Nausicaa is next door, actually. She is everything aside from plugged into the computer. She's sitting there with her laptop. Basically, Tasha has a program running and she's just sitting there watching, observing, typing stuff down herself. She actually has, cleared her a little space, and there is, as just whenever Nausicaa seems to be around an area, there seems to be just a gradually growing pile of empty Chinese food boxes, as she's realized that we can get Chinese food for free. So she has just been, gorging herself. And upon hearing the scream, she will kind of look up and kind of shrug and just look down. And then look up, put her thing down, and go to investigate, somewhat reluctantly. And yeah, she'll poke her head around the door.
Yeah, in the portal room, Ava's kind of made her a nest of a couple of blankets and pillows, in which she is sitting upright. Her hair is like a mess. You can see that she's been sweating. But by the time that the two of you would poke your heads around the door, she's actually grabbed like a book and started to write things down.
Upon seeing Elijah kind of coming to pay attention as well, Nausicaa just kind of looks at him with a look that says, do you know what that was?
No, not really. But And he he makes a pause as he thinks, and actually, I'm gonna use editing memory. However, I believe that is an Ava kind of scream.
I think so. She's been sleeping in there. Near to the portal. And yeah, she'll poke her little head around the door and see what she sees, hoping not to see some kind of trans-dimensional monstrous creature eating her.
No, the room still looks exactly the same as you left it. Nothing has changed, and Ava is still sitting there, writing. She does, like, you can clearly see that she looks like she's been scared, and kind of half awake probably by like the attire that she's wearing and the way her hair is. And she, like, right now doesn't really seem to notice that you guys are coming in, just poking your heads around.
She isn't dead.
Well, I'm gonna get some tea, and he starts to go back the way he came as he just I'll be right back, and he starts to get down. Yes, I'll yep tea stuff.
Nausicaa watches him go, the traitor, leaving her alone. And yeah, however, she's not socially awkward as much as socially uninterested. And she is kind of interested perhaps a little bit in what caused this scream. So she will walk into the room, hands behind her back, wearing her kind of, well, similar to the kind of outfit she's wearing right now instead of a Hello Kitty hoodie in my overlay. And yeah, she will walk up to her. I heard you scream. Are you okay?
And Ava will kind of hold up a finger and finishes her sentences. Then very quickly closes the book and looks up towards Nausicaa. I was well, I was dreaming.
Do you often suffer from nightmares?
It wasn't well. It didn't. I don't think it didn't start as a nightmare. But it did kind of end like one. I don't know. It was like so weird. Like you wouldn't believe it. But I dreamt of that. She kind of points towards the portal door.
You have spent a lot of time in this room. It is understandable that you will be dreaming about it.
No, not just. I think I know what's behind it.
Cocks ahead. What is your hypothesis?
Okay. So, and she quickly opens the book again, glances through it, actually crosses out a word and then changes it for another. So I was dreaming that that I woke up. I was in this room, like in my dream. I was in this room, but it wasn't just me. And I think it was a long time ago. and there were people, and some were like dressed in robes, and others were like animal pelts. They held up this stone, and then they were kind of chanting, and then at first in different languages, and then it kind of came together. It came together in one, like, one sound, and they had the stone, and they took blood from each other, or each person, and then they placed the stone in front of the portal, and it opened. And they all stepped on the stone and then went through. And I followed them in my dream.
Do you believe the ritual you observed is how we should open this portal?
I've always thought like dreams were more than just dreams. It's not just our subconscious, like, going about its daily business, but I've always thought there was some sort of meaning to dreams. So I don't know. It might be. It did look very specific. You don't believe me, do you?
My degrees of belief have been challenged a lot recently. This is not the most far-fetched thing I've heard.
It was beautiful, but kind of scary beyond the door.
And coming from the stairs, stomp, 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 stomp. As Elijah arrives. I brought tea. That's the thing we do, right?
Tea.
Yes. Chalk, tea, in order to stop overflowing the brain, relaxation, and plants.
How does tea stops plants?
No, no. I meant plant are used to calm nerves, and bring also a sense of tranquility, even if it is more psychosomatic than anything. But yes, brought tea.
Thank you for bringing, but I
Cool.
would not partake.
Why not?
I don't drink tea.
Why wouldn't you drink tea?
Just shrugs.
Well,
Does this upset you?
no. I mean, it's just a bit weird. I've never met someone who didn't drink or didn't like some kind of tea. Like, I'm just surprised, not upset.
It's okay. I'm glad I could be a novel experience for you.
And,
At this point,
and Elijah
Ava.
will pass a cup of tea to Ava.
Ava has been having dreams about the portal.
Oh, has it? Is it something psychosomatic that influenced your subconscious to make you having a dream, or do you believe that it had a complete influence over your cortex and produced a vision.
Nausicaa, hearing this, just kind of nods and then looks at Ava for an answer.
She is giving herself some time to translate that all into her head into a sentence that she understands more. I'm not sure. Like I said just now to Nausicaa there, I think I've always believed that there is more to dreams than just like the physical aspects of it, you know, or your brain processing information that you receive during the day. But and yeah, I think dreams can be triggered from surroundings and environments and situations that you were in, but also like no one really knows yet how our minds work, and dreams might just be like a way to see things with our minds in ways that we just do not really know how we're used to do that again.
And he thinks for a second. That is, if you wish to pursue, I guess, a more traditional seeing in dreaming and interpretation, I could give you a list of herbal components that were, well, believed to have influence on dream and searing. Not really sure of the correlation, but considering the kind of territory we're dealing with, I'm not throwing any hypothesis out of the window.
Ava will smile and nod. Yeah, I would like that. It's like maybe it's just a thing that like all throughout history you've had stories about seers, about wizards being able to see things from great distances or see things differently or have prophetic dreams. Like it's in the Bible, it's in mythological stories, it's in Arthurian legends. Maybe it's just something that we forgot how to do.
My personal belief has been, well, shaken more than a little bit. But if if a fly can perceive time faster than we do, I guess it is technically, in theory, possible, even if I'm not one to really go into the old way. Then again, as he show kind of a portal, I have not yet found a scientific explanation for this thing.
I would deduce that in ancient times, people and many elder and wise men, certain things have stayed true throughout that. Mathematical theorems, some philosophy. Certain laws of the universe that were discovered will always be true no matter what. They're a fact. But if an ancient was to see, for example, a mobile telephone, they would see it with some kind of magic. I think certainly that in previous eras, these mages that we have met are utilizing the world's natural laws in a way that is beyond current scientific explanation, and that is, when there is a lack of explanation, it is simply referred to as magic. There certainly may be a science to dreaming that has been understood in the guise of mysticism in the past that we in the modern era are not familiar with.
Yes, yes, it is true that generally technology and advancement is often referred to as magical, and the mysteries, the mysteries of science, mathematics, or even the mystery of writing holds meaning to people. Some people will see this as magic because it is beyond their comprehension, but to the others, it will merely appear as a simple mathematical formula or a simple experiment.
Do you believe this is what you have witnessed, Eva?
Okay, so
You mean whether this was brought on by science instead of magic? Because the way you're explaining it to me, it is both and neither.
Both. Is my belief, at least.
It could be neither. It could still be a third word that we don't know that encompasses it all. The entire field of. Because you're still making a difference between the magic and the technology. Because the technology is something that you understand, where magic you do not. So there might just be a third word of both of it altogether. I don't know.
My theory would be that it does not matter how you label it.
Yeah.
It does not change the essential truth of what it is. You can call it magic or you can call it science. Ultimately, it is advanced manipulation of nature's laws.
I don't entirely agree with that. I think you are right that
I know.
in essence you know these are like the same thing, but that just means that that thing is something that needs to be labeled, that needs a word to it, but it needs to be the right word. Like every word has a meaning, it needs to be the right meaning. It's neither magic in the way that you put it, because as you said, magic is something that you do not yet understand, because as soon as you understand it, as you just pointed out, it's called science or knowledge, no longer magic, because people understand what it is. So there should be a combination of these two words that should be that thing where we understand what we're interacting with and how we're interacting with it.
I personally am not sure that I believe in labels. The problem with labeling and even formulas doesn't mean necessarily that they hold truth. I know for a fact that many formulas that I've dealt when I was younger, I arrived to the same conclusion but with different methods. There's not one way and one description of doing things. I feel that this is the endless human potential that expresses itself.
We should ask Boris and Tasha. I'm sure they
Why?
will be able to inform us. Because I'm quite sure that they will understand these theories and concepts better than we do, and we can learn from them. They have said, apprentices.
Yes, but they also said that they do not hold all the answers, and we have to come up with our own theories and test them and find out about them. It's pretty easy always running for answers. Maybe there are not one, not even two.
The basis of knowledge is the knowledge of others. We stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yes, but don't you develop and fly on your own as well?
Of course. But I make sure that I have a thorough grounding in the field that I am venturing into. To assume that you can enter into somewhere and know more than others do you assume that you know more than Boris and Tasha?
Absolutely not.
So then why would it hurt to help them aside from your pride? Why would it
I'm
hurt
not,
to ask them if they know?
I'm not saying that you can't ask them. I'm just saying that I don't expect a clear-cut answer as you seem to.
I do not expect a clear-cut answer. It has been made quite apparent to me that often they will give no answer at all. However, it is good process to ask. Otherwise, we may
Even
avoid
if a
unnecessary,
process,
pointless, and wasteful mistakes if we do.
even if a process of asking towards someone like Tasha needs to be handled with care as to which options and answers you want to get from it. She seems to be one to prefer people not to bother her space and rather make their own experience, whereas Boris seems to be more inclined to teach. She seems to be the one to teach you after you tried and failed.
The Seeker nods. I can understand her reluctance to engage with us. We must seem very stupid compared to her.
We are children in a world of adults. Our
She nods.
understanding is not yet of the page. But I would say it is also our role to perhaps remind them that they are not alone in their own field, and if they took us and if they took us here, well, it is also their responsibility to at least show us the way so we can properly develop ourselves.
Speaking of development, to cut to the crux of the chase, Ava, do you believe that your vision was a magical, scientific, or whatever we wish to call it, an enlightened effect?
I didn't try to do anything, if that's what you're asking, and I don't know, but I think that what I saw and how it felt, that it's worth investigating on.
It is my understanding that to achieve these effects, you must consciously attempt them. Perhaps it is something beyond the door working magic upon you, working some kind of effect.
That could be. Or perhaps it was my subconscious working actively. A new layer of my mind opening, trying to reach out. I don't know, that might sound stupid. I've not given the
does not.
theory behind dreams many thoughts yet, but
It does
that
not
could
sound
be.
stupid. I think it is an interesting hypothesis and theory, and we should test it.
Mm.
How do you want to test that?
Sleep here again, see if it happens again.
The same dream?
Duh.
Or
No, whatever happens, document it. You were writing before we came in. You were writing down what you saw, correct?
Mm.
yes.
You should do this in great detail. Every small nuance, so that you may analyze it.
Mm. The
You're
problem.
not gonna go into my dream diary, are you?
No, not if you don't wish me to. I understand the concept of personal space.
Also for a simple basis, the general problem with dreams is that they tend to be forget in different laps of space, but generally, when we experienced it, it is far more efficient to have a notebook near us to put down impressions that may be tempered with outside uh, outside elements that may hinder our analysis of it.
I am no expert, but I believe the field is difficult to study because of this.
I've been keeping track of it for years now.
You may have some interesting results in there then.
Well, I asked my parents to send them up, but my
Do
last
not
book
do that.
was taken away.
Do not do that. Your parents may be being monitored by the Technocratic Union.
In that case, they would probably have it anyway.
Hmm.
And they have at least my last book. I never went anywhere without them.
Maybe start a new one. If, as
You'll
everyone
hold up
keeps...
the notebook.
Good. If it is true, and we have been, as we have been told, awakened, then perhaps your dreams will start to become more lucid.
I had been practicing a little bit on that, like lucid dreaming and stuff. I can do it a little, but not always. Like, it only sometimes works. It's all about trying to find out when you're dreaming and when you're not, but yeah.
Have either of you been able to manifest any forms of extra scientific effects? For example, the regrowing of limbs or the hoverboard we have seen.
No, I have been, however, able to apparently change my hair and my eyebrows and my eyes into a color of green by just consuming tobacco, mint, and other plants for some strange reason. And also, this was something I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh?
From what I understand, and from what everyone has been talking about, it's by doing things that we're good at that we can thrive, that we can unlock certain potential. My way, I feel the way I feel the more comfortable with is going to require some investment. And as you are one to know about data and market, maybe you could help me, because I have no understanding of how market and data works.
What is it you require? My expertise in market forces and stock fluctuations is probably not applicable here.
And he gets out a list, and he starts to blather a whole lot of materials. And as he finishes his list, he's like, so those I can acquire them with my own assets. However, those two are gonna need a more potent investment. And he hands over the list, and basically there's a DNA sequencer and a thermal cycler.
Nausicaa looks at them. You do not desire market expertise, you desire money.
If I have to get money, then and he use air quote, the easiest one that I see could potentially be through stock market acquiring, except that I have no knowledge and you seems to have some. I still need to see with James, who said he would be willing to help me. However, I want to see all my options. And since you know how the market works, I would like to know if this hypothesis is doable under your guidance, or if I should find another alleyway.
I'm not quite sure I understand. Why would you, if you wished to get this soon or quickly, market investments are perhaps not the way to go. I have no insider knowledge. I simply know how the system works. What you need is money. You do not need market expertise. How much money do you need?
And he nods when you give like indication, because he's like, okay, so this is new knowledge to acquire, because pretty much I mean, you can feel it, you know, from the way he's talking about it. Pretty much the only concept he has of, you know, market is either through pop culture or through, you know, a few journal that he may have glanced left and right. He has no actual knowledge of how it works. And he thinks, I could get second-handed, but I would need at least $10,000. Which is why I'm inquiring as to if that was possible. But from what you're saying, this may not be the avenue that I should go for.
If you need a small investment of that sum, I could do it. What would my return be?
Can't you just try and find it cheaper on like eBay or something?
I mean, this is the cheaper.
That amount of money is not difficult. Your main difficulty in this purchase will be keeping it hidden from those who are watching us. I assume that you have changed and that Tasha has done something with your bank accounts, correct?
Yes, and I'm personally looking with what's Alejandro's character's name again? William?
William.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She pointed me towards William, and I'm trying to see with him ways to make it less obvious. And perhaps get it delivered to a fake address or somewhere where it can be stored, and I may be able to acquire it later through other means.
I mean, and I don't have these kind of instruments weren't you a student at a university?
I mean, I had, except I don't have them here, and I do not believe I may be able to take one away from the lab. That would seems extremely suspect.
And you can't really do the things you want to do there.
At least not now. At least not until we have found a solution which is not stay secluded here.
If you are able to transfer your money into some variety of stable cryptocurrency, then I believe a technocratic union will not be able to follow that. It is mostly anonymous. Having it delivered to a different address should not be too difficult either, I believe. Yeah, for the record, all Nausicaa's money is now, it's not actually in Bitcoin, it's in a variety of like more stable and smaller cryptocurrencies.
And he nods. I think I see. I will need to see a little bit more with you about this investment and how it would work.
I'm quite happy to lend you the money. What kind of return would I get, though?
And he blinks because generally, when you say I need $10,000, people answer is not going to be I can lend you the money.
She seems like this is a perfectly normal thing.
And he nods as I mean, is that really okay?
I would not have offered if it was not possible.
And
However, if it is okay, it's been decided. I wish to know what return I will get from our investment.
and he looks at her and he's like, "Oh, I get it. I get it now. I'm asking for my loan. I'm asking for my student loan."
Does he say that in character?
Yeah, actually, he would say that in character because he thinks out loud. He thinks out loud whenever he's stressed or he's doing. Yes. Oh, I see. You would be a patron then.
We could certainly call it that. Regardless of what we call it, though, I wish to know what I would be getting for my investment.
I mean, mainly my research are towards cellular mutation and their application towards different fields, be it through, well, a more biologic and herbalism version, but also through more phonic. Phonic means probably applying questions such as, well, trying to cure cancer would probably be one of the easy answer, but I believe that if humanity were to acquire certain traits that exist in the animal kingdom or through plants, we might be able to work some enzymes or some vaccines that would be enabling us to, well, to put it bluntly, perhaps stop certain disease and render them a thing of the past. But also, I guess, a more practical and economic way could simply be to potentially provide crops that, well, are more stable than OGM and not, well,
I do not need
shrivel the earth
crops.
into nothingness.
I do not need crops or the cure of cancer. I would desire some small access to your research simply for my own interest into what you do. But primarily, if I provide you with this loan, I would like a guarantee in paper that if I am ever shot or have my arm taken off by one of those technocratic union warrior soldier people, then you will endeavor to do what Boris has said he can do.
And he blinks. He blinks as he was, okay, let's just, talk about standard thing. And then he's like, oh, we're talking about extra, the extra level. And he nods. I mean, if you want a written contract about it, yes, we can do that. I wouldn't personally not want to help someone who would lost an arm or a limb.
This would be good. If you would require further investment, I will see if I can come by some. Your research may have significant market impacts.
And he
Being one step ahead of the game could give me a serious return.
he nods as he say yes. I mean, formatical warfare is something that I'm very aware of. Putting your stamp on a new type of enzyme or anything can make a game changer. And yes, he stops babbling because he's like, yes.
Certainly. Give me your account details and I can transfer the money momentarily.
And he writes it down on a piece of paper because since he has eidetic memory, it's like, yeah, get out the data file, put it on paper, transfer.
Nausicaa gets out her smartphone and yeah, we'll begin fiddling around and it will take a few minutes so you guys can talk while she transfers the money.
And he's going to turn to Ava, like, sorry. Because it's like, yeah, let's talk about science, advancement, and warfare over knowledge and money.
I mean, Ava kind of zoned out after a few, like maybe half a minute of listening to this. She was like, "Yep." So she is once more like studying the wall, like making more notes in her book. And from time to time, kind of glances towards the portal. Oh, you said sorry? What? What did you say?
We were talking about contractship and investment and exchange.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, good luck with that, I guess.
But yes, if as he thinks, if at some point you may want to register some cerebral information to get you more data for your analysis of your dreams. When I will have enough material, I could potentially provide you with information if you agree to it. Of course, consentment is always important.
She eyes him suspiciously for a moment. How would you do that?
And he shrugs. If you have enough information on your own to analyze your dreaming, then it is fine. I'm simply offering you to monitor your brain activity when you sleep. If you need additional information to your analysis.
She actually kind of like she seems very reluctant and even grows a bit more pale at that. You mean you would strap me to a bed and then apply things to my head?
And he makes a pause as he's thinking, like, let's analyze the information she's giving me. And he like, I don't see why I would strap. And he makes a pause. Oh no 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 no! As he like like shakes his hand like no 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 strapping. Like why? Why would you even do that? No, I got no. It's just
No, yeah, you're right. Why would you do that?
no. I was simply talking about putting electrodes electrodes at your temples and simply monitoring brain activities. That's it. Having on a seismograph and see if your brain activity picks up at night, which might explain if this dream is of dream nature or something more. That is all. And as I said, it's just if you need that kind of information.
Um, I don't know if I would need that. If you want to, I guess that might be fine. Like, I am actually thinking if I think we can just see if my dream is correct. Like, if what I dreamed is correct, then I know what's behind that portal.
And
And I saw how
nod.
they opened it. Sorry, what did you say?
No, I mean he just nodded at your statement that yes,
Uh,
if the dream is correct, then yeah, it means that you know what's on your side.
so I don't know how you could find out. Like, if you think that putting things on my head would, like the electrodes, if you think that would be able to prove whether my dream is right or not, then sure, go ahead.
I
If you
meant
like
that
it, that is.
I meant that I do not know. I'm simply making an hypothesis that may or may not help you in your endeavor.
Yes, but if
It's not about my want.
well, I mean, you need to want to do that. Plus, if that is your theory, then shouldn't you? Don't you want to test it?
I mean, I would be interested into, but as I said, patient consent is important in this case, and you seems to be reluctant to it. So I don't see why I would insist.
I am. Well, I mean, it's just a bit of bad memory, you know. I
Mhm.
mean, didn't you have things strapped to your head when you were there?
And he he shuddered like, ugh. Uh, yes, but if if I if I let them if I let them influence me, then uh I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't even be able to uh help. my local animal shelter, if let let everything gets to me, I prefer to
I
see
mean,
this as a lesson as to what not to do.
that's why I said it's fine, but that doesn't mean that the memory isn't there. Like, if you want to test your theory and you want to try and see if that would help, then I am okay with that. I am a bit nervous, but that doesn't mean that I don't consent.
I know. Yeah, he doesn't say anything. He's just drinking his tea. Like, yes, drinking tea. It doesn't mean I have to talk. I drink tea.
She kind of shrugs.
Done. You should have the money within 3 to 5 working days.
And he nods. Should I be waiting for a contract?
No, you can send the papers to me. Doesn't have to be too formal. A simple signature, acknowledgement, and I would like a receipt for my deposit as well.
He nods.
So, do you guys want to know what I saw behind there?
Uh, yes, I would.
Okay.
Didn't you told us, didn't you?
I
I
told
mean,
you up to the portal, but
but I wasn't there first, so I don't know.
Elijah
Okay,
wasn't
okay.
there, so well, I'm sorry, Nazca. I'll just repeat what I told you earlier. Which she will, which I will not do in scene because that's fucking bullshit. So she'll just give the big description of the.
I really don't mind.
She'll give the description of the man who were like dressed in either robes or animal pelts, and this stepping stone and where it was placed and what they did. Sort of a ritual is what she's describing, and she'll continue. So like when the portal opened, it was like misty. I couldn't really see in, and all the people were going in. There were like 7 of them, and I followed them. Um, and I was on a mountainside. Like there was snow, and there was this sort of building like structure. There were statues standing on the building, like a dozen or something. Um, there was stars above. There was no clouds. There was no wind, but there were like flags that were waving, but there wasn't any wind. And the stars were extremely bright. There was the moon, but I could also see planets, and not um, like when you see, if you would look out here and you would look up and you would be able to see like Venus, and it just looks just like a star, but I could actually see them like really close, like a couple of different planets. And the statues all wore like a mixture of these robes combined with the animal pelts. It was almost like the clothing of the people that went through the portal kind of unified. And as I was walking around in that building, it started to age almost. Like some of the statues started crumbling and the walls started like breaking down. it's like it went like extremely fast until there was like barely anything left, like a few ruins, and around the mountain there was nothing. Just nothing. Just the world seemed to kind of end with that mountain, and there was nothing but grey mist below it and around it. But there were a few stairs going, like dwindling up on the mountain and going down, and I wanted, uh, I wanted to walk towards the mist or the smoke. Sorry, the smoke. And when I went through, I just started to fall, and as I saw like the ground coming nearer and nearer, and the moment I thought I would hit it, I woke up.
Huh.
I believe the most obvious way to work out whether your dreams are indeed prophetic in nature would be to figure and open out the portal and then see if it has been referenced in your dreams.
Yeah. I think that would mean that we would need to find out how this ritual worked. Like they had that stepping stone, they were holding it up before placing it in front of the portal. And it looked like a very old one. Like, have you ever been in like a castle? And I don't mean anything like, I don't know even if they have castles here in the States, but like a European castle.
Shakes her head.
Hmm.
Well, the thing is, when you have these like stairs or like some stones that have been walked upon for like hundreds and hundreds of years, they have like this how do you say that? It's the same as when you have a wooden floor and you walk on it like for a lot of time, then it just starts to sink a little bit where you've been walking. And that's what the stepping stone looked like it had been used for like centuries and centuries of time. So I think we would need to find that.
Nausicaa nods and nods in agreement, and then says kind of awkwardly that she needs to get back to her studying, and we'll leave because Robbie needs to go. Thank you.
And he's not quite sure. It's like we're alone now. More tea?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, tea sounds nice. It tastes good, by the way.
Hmm. Ceylon.
Right. Well, like I said, I think we would need to find a stepping stone
Hmm.
and I need to figure out that ritual. I know they used at least a little bit of blood for everyone, from everyone involved in the ritual. And I know where they placed the stone. But they were also chanting, and I think we need to find out what they were saying.
Uh, least in theory, as we're taking this, I would probably for insight, I would probably recommend talking with Boris. He, as he tries to find the right word, of between the two, he seems to be the one who is the oldest in terms of, I guess, magical magical fashion. I'm not sure that Natasha would be very inclined towards, I guess, um, traditional portal opening. Perhaps if you would need guidance on that subject, I think he might be probably the one to give you answers to help you with that stepping stone.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I need to tell him this. Maybe he knows something more about like dreams and how like maybe it's something that maybe it's also a form of magic.
Mm.
And I guess I also need to talk to James. Because
Mm.
I know he's working on the languages as well.
Mm. Yes, James, in your field, seems to be most accurate TP partner.
Hmm. Actually, why did you guys come here?
Um, heard you scream. Was
Oh,
was remembering your scream from um, yes, previous. So um, I wanted to see if everything was all right. Which technically screaming means that something is not right, but yes, seeps through a tea. So interesting, sipping tea.
I. Mm, I don't know exactly what did. I didn't realize you heard me scream there. It doesn't matter, I guess. Anyway, thank you for the tea.
Mm. As he nods, and he will put the kettle on one of the table, putting some tissue under it. Um, since you seem to have made this place a long stay, I will leave the teapot here.
That's nice. You don't need it?
Oh, I have um, another one in the greenhouse.
Okay. Well, I see you later then, I guess.
And he nods. Yes, I will. I will see you later.
Okay.
And with that, he will take his teacup and go back to the greenhouse to see Marcus Vifficus and all his plant buddies.
And yeah, Ava will sip some of the tea and go back to her writing, her studying. Actually, kind of makes drawings of the sort of clothing that she saw the people wear, and of the stepping stone and where it was positioned in her dream, and things like that. And with that, we can call this a scene. Thank you,
Mhm.
players, for playing, and watchers for watching.